about something a little bit different. How many of you have heard of a place called the Kenimer Site? The Kenimer Site is the location of an ancient Mayan temple complex ruin in North Georgia in the Sautee-Nacoochee area. It is adjacent to the Track Rock site, which was the Mayan settlement. Now, what were the Mayans doing in North Georgia? Glad you asked. They were here to get palygorskite clay. Palygorskite clay was a major component in the pigment known as Maya blue. This is the pigment that they used to paint their sacrificial victims before ripping their hearts out and throwing them into cenotes. Traces of Maya blue at Chichen Itza are still in existence inside the temple complex, and testing of the chemical composition shows that the palygorskite clay used comes from an area near Jasper, Georgia. The Mayans had a regular trade route and a settlement set up to come up and collect the palygorskite. Now, what's interesting about the Kenimer Site, other than just the historical potential there, is that it is currently protected by the 5th Ranger Battalion of Army Rangers. Officially, the 5th Ranger Battalion was activated in World War II and deactivated in October of 1945. Yet, the 5th Ranger Battalion is still monitoring the Kenimer Site and nearby Yonah Mountain, Georgia. Now, you might be wondering what it is that is keeping a supposedly disbanded group of Army Rangers monitoring an archaeological site. Because it's not the palygorskite. I'll have to go ahead and tell you that now. So, again, this is drawing from things that my father said to me before he passed away. This is drawing on information that is 40 years old. In the 1960s and 1970s, there was a series of experiments conducted on military spouses who were pregnant. My mother was one of the people who was subjected to these experiments. These women were unknowingly injected with what they were told were prenatal vitamins. In reality, the vitamins were a combination of microdoses of LSD, psilocybin, magic mushrooms, and what is now called harmaline, which is the active ingredient in ayahuasca. The goal of these experiments was to create a race of super soldiers who could then be recruited into the U.S. military and trained for clandestine operations. The Kenimer Site is one of the training grounds being used for people recruited into this program. Now, how do I know that the recruitment was being done? I was approached in 1988 and asked to join, even though I had asthma, which should have been an automatic 4F. They heavily recruited me in the late 80s to join this unit, to the point of telling me what the unit objectives were. They wanted to do remote viewing, and beyond remote viewing, they wanted to do remote assassination. They were looking for people who had enough control over their energetic field to be able to use quantum physics to manipulate the energetic field around the hearts of other people. They wanted us to cause heart attacks in assassination targets. It would be an untraceable form of assassination. That is what is being hidden underneath the ground at the Kenimer Site. That is why the 5th Battalion of Army Rangers, disguised as the 5th Battalion Training Regiment at Mount Yonah, is still active and still guarding the site. That is also why the government in 1997 commissioned a University of Georgia archaeologist to spend 3 days taking surface samples of the site so that he could then say that there was nothing of interest there. And that has been his defense of why the site should be ignored ever since. 3 days of test pits, and he has decided there was nothing there. Any real archaeologist knows it takes a lot longer than that to excavate a site. Alright, so there's your dose of reality for today. I hope you are enjoying getting your eyes open to just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.